Let's take a look at adding and subtracting mixed fractions. So a mixed fraction is just a whole number with a piece of a number, because any fraction is just a part of a whole. So we've got 3 whole things and then 2/3. And we're going to add that to 4.5. So the first thing to do is just kind of ignore the whole numbers and deal with your fractions. Because it's 2/3 and 1/2, we're going to have to find a common denominator. And that is the number that both 3 and 2 go into evenly. In this case, 6. Sometimes it's as easy as just multiplying the 2 denominators, because when you multiply, you know absolutely both are going to go into that number. And then do the same thing that we've been doing. Figure out how many times 3 goes into 6. That's 2, which means we're going to do what we do on the bottom, we're going to do on the top. So we're going to multiply the numerator by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And then down here, 2 goes into 6 3 times. We're going to do the same thing on the top. 1 times 3 is 3. So now we're going to add that together. 4 and 3 is 7 over 6. And then we're going to add the whole numbers. 3 and 4 is 7. Now, this is an improper fraction, which needs to be reduced to a mixed fraction in and of itself. So ignore the 7 and change that into a mixed fraction. 7 divided by 6 is 1, remainder 1 over 6. So this one is done. We're done with this one. We've got 7 and 1 1/6. You just add those 2 whole numbers. So your answer is 7 plus 1 is 8 and 1/6. So let's try another addition. We've got 4.5 plus 3 3/5. Again, we need to find, just ignore the 4 and the 3 for now. We need to find the common denominator for 2 and 5. We know that 2 does not go into 5, so we're going to have to go higher. How about 10? Yes, 2 goes into 10. So our new denominator is 10. And 2 goes into 10 5 times. So we're going to do the same thing on the top. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 goes into 10 twice. So 3 times 2 is 6. We're going to add those up. We've got 11 over 10. And this time I'm not going to deal with the whole numbers yet. I'm going to make this into a mixed fraction. That's going to be 1 and 1/10. So this one's done. And then we bring down that 7. But we're not finished because we need to combine the 7 and the 1 and 1/10. So that's going to be 8 and 1/10. Nice. All right, let's try a subtraction problem. 7 1/4 minus 2 3/5. Same thing, we need to find a common denominator. 4 and 5 both go into 20. Which means our answer for now is going to be denominator 20. 4 goes into 25 times. Do that on the top. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 goes into 24 times. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, now, this is interesting. We cannot subtract 12 from 5. 5 minus 12 is a negative number, and that's just not going to work for us in this fraction. So we're going to borrow 1 from the 7. So let's take 1 away. That leaves us 6. So 6 and 5/20. What do we do with that extra 1? we're actually going to make another fraction that equals 1. Remember how we talked about before, any number over itself equals 1. 2 over 2 equals 1. 9 over 9 equals 1. 1,732 over 1,732 equals 1. So any number over itself equals 1. So you have some opportunity here to make it easy on yourself, because we're already dealing with a denominator of 20. That's what we're going to use to make our 1. So here we need to increase that 5. So we're going to say 5 over 20 plus 20 over 20. That's our 1 that we just took from the 7. So let's add these two up. That gives us 25 over 20. And I'm going to rewrite this problem because it's moving way out. So let me grab. So now our problem is 6 and 25, 20 minus 2 and 12, 20. There we go. Now it's a lot cleaner. And then we just do the subtraction. 25 minus 12 is going to be 13 over 20. 6 minus 2 is 4. You cannot reduce that. You're done. And let me show you this with the other, just so you can see it all together. So we started out with, push that up. We started out with 7 1/4 and 2 3/5. We found the common denominator, 5 over 20, 12 over 20, but we could not subtract 12 from 5. So we needed to borrow 1 from the whole number, and that we turned into a fraction, 20 over 20, because then we can add these without having to alter it yet again. And that gave us 25 over 20. So what we have now is 6 and 25 over 20 minus 2 and 12 over 20. And then the subtraction is pretty simple. Perfect. All right, let's try this one. 9 1/4, 3 7/16. So for a common denominator, this one's kind of nice because 4 goes into 16, does it not? That means we don't have to alter this one at all. We do have to alter this one. We're going to make our new denominator appear 16. 4 goes into 16 4 times. What you do on the bottom, you do on the top. And so now we've got 9 4/16 minus 3 7/16. But we run into the same problem we just had. We cannot subtract 7 from 4. So I'm going to rewrite this again, just so it's clean. We've got 9 4/16 minus 3 7/16. Get that up where you can see it. And because we cannot subtract 7 from 4, we're going to borrow 1 from the 9. That turns into an 8. And because our denominators are 16, we're going to write our 1 in fraction form as 16 over 16. So we borrowed the 1 from the 9, turned it into fraction form, and we chose to use the denominator that we had already figured out in order to keep us from having to adjust it yet again. So now we're going to add these two together, and that's going to be 4 plus 16 is 20 over 16. So now we've got 8 and 20/16 minus 3 and 7/16. So 20 minus 7 is 13 over 16, and 8 minus 3 is 5. You cannot reduce that. That's as low as it goes. So you're done. Nice.